Voters do not agree with these despicable women on The View. They are wildly out of touch with the vast majority of Americans, and frankly, they should seek immediate help.
This is why, of course, she's on The View and not working for the most powerful man in the world, because Karoline would wipe the floor with you bitter banshees any day.
Joe Biden knows how to do this.
Yes.
He knows how to do this. He's quite good at this. And you know, you can't refute anything with him because he just, when I say him, I mean...
He rambles.
Trump.
Yeah.
He tends to just...
But can I mention one thing?
Just a few days ago, we showed you the intense showdown between the new White House press secretary, Karoline Leavitt, and Whoopi Goldberg. But what we didn't show you was a full, unfiltered chaos. The gasps, the eye rolls, and the stunned reactions that froze viewers in place. Now, buckle up, because what's coming next might just leave your jaw on the floor.
Too, I'm a working mom and always have been. I've been a professional woman since I graduated from college or law school. But now there's, I think, a good thing, which is like the restoration of valuing so-called traditional, moms, and that's great. The women who take care of their kids full time. Most of my best friends are doing exactly that. But it seems like in the right, there's like a bit of a shift toward like, you can't do what Karoline's doing. That's actually like an unsafe or a dangerous or a bad choice for families, for children, which I reject wholesale, but you hear it more and more.
Yeah.
Do you hear that?
The moment Karoline clapped back live on air, the so-called woke mob reacted like clockwork. They stormed online with claws out, dragging her through the digital mud. Not because she was wrong, but because she dared to challenge Whoopi Goldberg, Hollywood's self-appointed queen of progressivism. And here's where it got ugly. They didn't attack her facts, her stance, or even her delivery. They went after her motherhood. In 2025, they pulled a page straight from a 1950s playbook and asked why a woman with a 7-month-old baby was even working. That was their big argument. Not that she was incorrect, but that she should be at home. No data, no logic, just blatant mom shaming from people who claim to stand for freedom, choice, and progress. The irony? These are the same folks who preach women can do it all. Yet the moment Karoline did just that, and on her own terms, they slammed the brakes. As if the minute a woman outshines a daytime talk show host, she should run home, bake cookies, and rethink her entire existence. That's not feminism. That's hypocrisy with a hashtag. And let's be clear, Karoline wasn't saying anything outrageous. She made valid, thoughtful points. So why the outrage mob? Why attack a hard-working mother doing her job? What happened to supporting women who actually work? Just watch. Karoline didn't shout, didn't flinch. She dismantled the noise with calm, collected facts, like swatting a fly with a gold-plated sledgehammer. She proved you can be a mom and a professional. You don't have to choose. Imagine that. Common sense still exists. Alert the internet.
Reject that it's a bad choice. Is it a tough choice? Absolutely. As a mother, you want to be with your child 24/7. You have that maternal instinct.
27.
Yeah. Not all the time. Well, right now, yes, because he's 7 months and just squishy and lovable, but I'm sure that will change. But you do have that maternal instinct, but also recognizing I'm doing this work for my son and for all children to make this country better. And it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Honestly, Karoline is making some solid points, and I have no idea why people are hating on a hardworking mother in the first place. Let's see what she has to say next.
Yes. It's also it's temporary, right? In 4 years, my son will be 4 years old and the president will no longer be at the White House. And then I'll move on and do something else. But, this chaos of 24/7 work is a temporary matter. And that's what at least I tell myself to get through these very long and hard days. But I would reject that you can't be a good mom and be good at your job. I think you can do both. It's not for everybody. And it takes a lot of work and will and faith and prayer. And it's hard, but it can be done. And,
And here's the kicker. She even admitted that not every woman is cut out for both. She said it plainly. My path isn't for everyone. Cue the virtual gasps. In a world obsessed with the mantra, have it all or you fail feminism. Karoline flipped the script. She didn't recite slogans. She dropped wisdom. With quiet strength, she reminded everyone that choosing to be a full-time mom isn't a step backward. It's stepping into one of the most important roles there is, raising the next generation. That's not weakness. That's power. Karoline didn't just win the debate. She exposed the double standards. She pulled back the curtain on a crowd that preaches equality, but mocks women who make different choices. Smell that? That's the scent of fake feminism mixed with old-school mom shaming. But just when you think the internet mob couldn't sink lower, they found a new bottom. Suddenly, they launched into conspiracy mode. Yes, the same people who worship facts and logic tossed both out the window and slipped on their tinfoil hats. What came next? Pure comedy.
I mean, I gotta ask you, because they said it, are you aware of any plots from Elon Musk to push President Trump down the stairs?
Absolutely not. Let me be unequivocally clear about that. And watching this clip, I couldn't help but think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists. But they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years. They likened President Trump to Hitler. They have mocked him. They have shamed him. They have lied about him consistently on their show. And it was a joy to watch them on November the 6th when they realized that tens of millions of Americans do not listen to the lies that they have spewed. These women are completely out of touch.
Believe it or not, the latest theory floating around is that Elon Musk, the billionaire genius who's launching rockets and revolutionizing industries, is secretly plotting to take down Donald Trump by pushing him down the stairs. Yes, really, because apparently when you're rich and powerful, schoolyard pranks are now your go-to strategy. And who's spreading this nonsense? The ladies of The View, treating their coffee table chatter like it's a national investigation. Why? Because Karoline Leavitt had the audacity to outsmart their beloved Whoopi. Now, they want revenge, and they got Trump and Elon Musk in their sights too. You'd think this was a script from a political satire show, but no, it's real life. But Karoline wasn't playing along. She fired back, calm, firm, and sharp. Her response was so solid, it left the conspiracy crowd scrambling for their next wild theory. And Whoopi, instead of confronting Karoline directly, she threw shade from a distance. Because even she knows going head-to-head with Karoline Leavitt is like stepping into a buzzsaw blindfolded. That's not a debate. That's a guaranteed knockout.
A lot of women are preparing themselves for the impact of the incoming administration, which has led to this growing mantra from male right-wing incels. Your body, my choice. Say that to my face.
Whoopi Goldberg didn't face Karoline Leavitt directly. Instead, she swerved and launched her next attack on Donald Trump. But what happened next shocked even longtime viewers. Live on national television, right after saying Trump's name, Goldberg spat. Yes, actually spat like a cartoon villain tasting defeat. Real classy, right? Because nothing screams serious political discourse like literally spitting mid-sentence. But Karoline didn't let that go unchecked. She fired back, sharp, clear, and absolutely brutal. With the calm precision of a surgeon and the force of a freight train, she said what everyone was thinking. This is what debate looks like now. When there are no facts, Goldberg resorts to playground theatrics. Leavitt added, imagine being so triggered by someone's name that you start spitting like a toddler who hates broccoli. And she wasn't wrong. It wasn't defiance. It was desperation, and it looked bad. Leavitt didn't hold back. She called out the hypocrisy loud and clear.
How you were going to meet the high bar set by Corinne Jean-Pierre. Was that... Sorry. Was that out loud? No, she was terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how has your approach differed, would you say?
I think it's vastly different. And if you ask people, even in the legacy media, even the Trump haters, they will tell you the approach has been much different. Not just from me, but
They
the
admit that
entire
to you.
White House. Oh, absolutely. They come in my office every day and they'll admit that off the record.
Oh.
Maybe not on the record, but they will say they appreciate the access and the transparency and the preparation that goes into my briefings and everybody on our
Same crowd that preaches civility and respect just turned live TV into a circus, where spit replaces substance and insult substitute for logic. No surprise. The internet exploded. Memes spread faster than the View producers could cut to commercial. And the public? They didn't hold back. One viewer wrote, "These women are going to have to hide eventually. I wouldn't feel safe walking down the street if I were them." Support for Leavitt poured in. As for Whoopi's stunt, it backfired hard. Viewers called her out for what many saw as symbolic. She literally spat on half the country, one said. Others weren't convinced it was even genuine. "I'm pretty sure she gets paid extra to act that foolish," another added. But here's where it gets even bigger. In one sharp moment, Karoline didn't just silence critics. She exposed them. She peeled back the mask on legacy media and its most unhinged Trump haters. These are the same people who've smeared her at every turn, questioning her resume, mocking her motherhood, dragging her name every chance they get. If she blinks wrong, a hit piece drops before she's finished a sentence. But behind the scenes, it's a different story. Sources say some of her loudest critics have quietly been visiting her office, smiling, shaking hands, even thanking her for restoring actual press access. Apparently, Biden's team had shut them out, and now they're quietly grateful.
IG report from the Social Security Administration, there was $71 billion worth of fraud in one single fiscal year that we know about. And so that is a lot of fraud, Peter.
To be clear, that $71 billion was from 2015 to 2022, so it wasn't in just one year. And it was
$71 billion.
But it wasn't in 1 year, just over multiple years, from 2015 to 2022.
So are you defending $71 billion in fraud, Peter? That's a lot of money. Why is the media so against cutting waste, fraud, and abuse from the government? I don't get it.
I just want to ask a question.
We won't be deterred. We will not be deterred from people like you. And
So while they bash her on Twitter, off camera they're whispering, "Thanks for doing her job." You can't make this up. But let's be real. Hypocrisy is practically part of the media uniform now. And it's not just a view. It's the whole system pretending to fight corruption while secretly playing footsie with it. And there's Leavitt calmly watching it unravel, seat in hand, fresh off her takedown of Whoopi, when another woke journalist jumps in. But not to discuss the corruption she just exposed. No, they came to attack her. Classic move. Ignore the scandal. Target the messenger. Play hall monitor over her tone and phrasing while pretending it's about democracy. But Leavitt didn't flinch. She fired off a brutal jab. "Oh, I didn't realize exposing corruption was less important than your fact-checking fetish." And just like that, the so-called journalist was rattled, nitpicking every word, completely ignoring the scandal sitting center stage. In the end, it wasn't a debate. It was a takedown. That journalist didn't walk away looking like a truth seeker. More like a PR intern for the very scandal Karoline had just exposed.
You prepare because you can't know everything, and you could get asked anything. And unlike Karine Jean-Pierre, you're not out there reading and furiously flipping through your tabs to try to find an answer somebody else has written for you. So how are you preparing?
So I did prepare a binder for the first briefing. My great assistant, Keegan, put it together. And then I showed up to work and it was like this thick. And I was like, I can't even move this. I can't use this. It was too cumbersome for my brain and the way I learn and think and study to have that. It felt like added weight. And I said, I want to just go in there and speak from my mind and from my heart.
Like your boss.
Like my boss.
And it makes you wonder, how does Leavitt stay so sharp under pressure? Simple. No scripts. No handlers. No buzzword bingo. She speaks from the gut. While others filter every sentence through PR teams and focus groups, Karoline just tells it like it is, raw, direct, and unapologetic. She's not worried about sounding trendy or checking off ideological boxes. She skips the performance. No fluff, no spin, just straight talk that hits harder than a dozen polished talking points. While the left ties itself in verbal knots trying not to offend their own echo chambers, Leavitt cuts through it all with confidence, evidence, and crystal clarity. She's not just talking, she's delivering. And the critics? They can't keep up. While they're still typing outrage threads on X, pretending it's 2016 Twitter, Karoline's already 2 steps ahead, calmly dismantling their arguments before they even finish typing. In a media world drowning in fake outrage and hollow slogans, Leavitt's authenticity isn't just refreshing, it's dangerous. Dangerous to those whose entire platforms rely on smoke, mirrors, and selectively packaged outrage.
She's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though, it's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
When Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg tried to reduce Karoline Leavitt to just her appearance, it wasn't just lazy. It was flat out pathetic. Let's call it what it is. Envy. They're not just offended. They're intimidated. Karoline's intelligence, composure, and rapid rise to national prominence speak volumes. That kind of momentum shakes people who spend decades shouting into a camera with little to show for it. So what's their strategy? Classic deflection. Throw shade, lob petty insults, and hope something sticks, no matter how baseless. It's high school drama dressed up with studio lighting and a daytime TV budget. But here's the truth. They can't touch a record. It's solid. They can't win a debate. She cuts through them like a hot knife through butter. So they default to the last trick in the woke playbook. Character assassination. Their favorite claim? She's only successful because of Trump. When facts fail, jealousy screams louder. Conveniently, they ignore that Karoline Leavitt was already turning heads long before she ever stepped behind the White House podium. And let's be honest, would they ever say the same about a liberal mom balancing career and family? Not a chance.
Very nice looking lady. But it isn't true that that's why she got the job. She got the job because she was the national spokesman for the campaign, and she did a very good job at in that role. And the campaign was hugely successful and communicated very effectively. That is why she got the job. Even if Karoline Leavitt weren't a pretty lady, even if she were a male, gremlin, monstrous-looking fellow, she still would have gotten the job based on how effective the campaign communications was. Furthermore, Karoline Leavitt ran for Congress. I was talking to Roger Stone about this when we were trying to figure out who the picks for the administration were going to be. He said, I think Leavitt's going to get the White House press sec job. I think she earned the job, and I like that she has been in the fire. She's run for office.
Double standard is staggering, and the louder they complain, the more obvious it becomes. This isn't politics. It's pure insecurity. Just by showing up, Leavitt is winning the cultural battle, and her success is driving them off the rails. No one captures is better than Michael Knowles. But let's be real, Leavitt isn't dominating because of sound bites. She's the real deal. Her confidence isn't cosmetic. It's built on grit and real-world experience. Think back to her congressional run. This wasn't a Gen Z influencer chasing clout. She won the Republican primary decisively, defeating Matt Mowers, a former Trump official with the establishment backing. Spoiler alert, he didn't stand a chance. And while she lost the general election to Democrat Chris Pappas, it wasn't a blowout. She made the political elite nervous. That campaign wasn't a resumed bullet point. It was trial by fire. Karoline Leavitt didn't stroll into politics. She earned her place, and that is what truly scares them. Because in the real arena of politics, not the latte-fueled fantasyland some pundits live in, she's a threat they can't dismiss.
Now to the cackling witch herself, Joy Behar from The View, whose jealousy is something to behold. Here is her assessment of Trump's new White House press secretary, Karoline Leavitt.
I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though, it's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
The ever-empowering feminist, Joy herself, everyone. And this is why, of course, she's on The View and not working for the most powerful man in the world, because Karoline would wipe the floor with you bitter banshees any day.
Karoline Leavitt's quick comebacks aren't just youthful energy. They're forged in the fire. She's taken real hits, stood firm, and come back stronger every time. And that's exactly why the left can't stand her. She represents everything they pretend to celebrate: intelligence, resilience, and undeniable effectiveness. Behind all the stage applause, they're nervous. Because unlike the carefully curated voices they push, Leavitt actually knows how to win. Let's face it, the women on The View aren't just annoyed by her, they're jealous. Can you blame them? While they recycle talking points on a couch, Karoline's inside the White House helping shape national narratives. Let that sink in. They talk for a living. She defines the conversation. It's not about titles, it's about relevance, and they know it. They can't match her intellect. They can't rattle her composure. and they certainly can't outmaneuver her politically. So every time they try to take her down, it ends the same way, with Karoline standing tall, while they scramble to save face.
That guy, Jim Acosta? Oh, wait, he's not on CNN anymore. That's right. He was like, it was just so, I would say, you don't mind the aggressive questions, you take the aggressive questions, but it was just always to the point that it was like, how do you destroy Donald Trump? How do you destroy the individuals of staff? It was so, when they do say Trump derangement syndrome, and I do think that there's also Elon Musk derangement syndrome happening too with the media, because they don't know how to handle it. How do you view that differently from the first administration till now?
Well, first of all, since you brought up Jim Acosta, he's been saying some not so nice things about me online, and I've resisted responding, but since you brought him up, I'd like to say,
let's go.
Jim, at least I have a job, Jim, okay? Just say.
Karoline walks in with facts and a smile, and leaves her critics spinning. While Whoopi and her crew throw tantrums, Leavitt throws down receipts. They stir up drama. She drops truth bombs. It's like watching a heavyweight go up against keyboard commentators pretending they've trained. You can feel the envy through the screen. And let's be honest, if any of them had to switch places with her, they wouldn't last 5 minutes under real pressure. Another flawless clapback from the queen of comebacks. At this point, it's like a master chef outclassing someone who just learned to boil water. That's why Whoopi avoids a real showdown. Not because she's busy, but because she knows how it would end. It's not just about losing. It's about being humiliated in front of millions. Whoopi may have volume, but Karoline has precision. Leavitt plays chess while Goldberg's still fumbling with broken checkers. Every insult tossed her way comes back sharper, cleaner, and with a polite, bless your heart. Deep down, Whoopi knows. She could perform for the camera all day long, but if this were a real debate, it'd be over before the first commercial break.